Hey, welcome back everybody. Um, this is actually my second introduction to this video that's coming today because the first introduction I did, we ended up not doing at all what I said I was gonna do. It just went off in a different direction, which happens, right, when you're doing art. Originally, I was going to use these packing labels and stuff that I have over here and make a masterboard out of that, but I ended up using instead vintage paper because I have lots of vintage papers that are just sitting around, so I ended up using that instead. But I was doing the technique. This is a technique that I've done before. I just didn't know the name of it, which is decollage. All right, collage, decollage. I was just doing it before I knew there was a name for it. But what it is you just like glue down your layer and then you let it dry completely. And then you go back and you start peeling off some of the bits that aren't all the way glued down, like, like maybe around the edges of something. And then you just start peeling all that back. And then you can also sand it once it's dry. And then you add another layer. And the other layer doesn't have to like completely cover the whole piece. You can just do layers, like bits here and there. Let that dry, peel, sand, and then go on to the next layer. And then in between your layers, you can also add paint or color, that kind of thing. So I had done that before, not in a large scale like I'm doing in the video, just maybe like during a prompt on a journal page or something like that. I've done that before. So today I'm doing a big masterboard again because I'm going to cut it up and use part of it for a tag, and then do another process after that. Anyway, so that's the introduction to what we're doing today in the video. I'm also going to add the tag into my Insane Asylum journal. And so I'm going to actually call this my first in a series. It's going to be a series kind of like my trash talk. I don't know if it'll be weekly or whenever. It's just whenever the mood strikes that I actually do something that I like to put in the journal. I'm going to call it something like Playday in the Asylum. A Playday in the Asylum, So then, so if you see that, then you know that that's something that I'm making something to put into the journal, or I'm going to be doing something right on the journal page. I actually ended the video with the completed tag, and I didn't show myself putting it in the journal because I haven't done it yet. So I'm not sure if that will be at the end of the video, or if that will be another video that I'll show myself actually adding the tag to the journal, because I haven't created any pockets or anything. I haven't got that far yet. I just completed the tag and it was already a long video. So if you get to the end and it's not in the journal, that means I'll be doing another video on that, and I apologize for that. It didn't even dawn on me. I just finished the video and I'm editing it and looking over it, and I decided, oh, I need to change the introduction, and then later I realized I didn't even put it in the journal. So my bad. But we will eventually. Okay, so with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's just me doing a masterboard. There is some voiceovers, there will be some music, and there will be a tag at the end that hopefully you guys can also try doing yourself at home. All right, maybe you guys have started your own Asylum journals, and you can add this tag also. All right, here we go. All right, so I wasn't able to video most of this because, one, it takes forever and for the glue to dry, and then I would forget to film the next part, and I just kept going. And then two, I was getting frustrated because you really have to let the layers dry in between. So all it is like at the beginning I showed you, is you just glue down your layers, your first layer, let it dry, and then completely, and then glue down second layer. It doesn't have to be total, it could just be like as you see here in spots. Glue that down, let it dry completely, and then if you want, just sand over it, over your next layer before you put the next layer down. So then you get, hold on, let me put this down. I guess I could zoom in, but I'll just take the phone down. And then you get like results like this once you sand it. All right, so you can see many layers. This was like my first layer with this A line. And then my second layer was like with these things. And then this is actually my third, but I was so frustrated with these because it just, the whole thing just kept peeling up. Like I would go to peel it and the whole paper would peel up. So that's why you really got to let it dry. And then the thinner the paper, like these old vintage papers are really thin, and those seem to work the best. Like they will stay down. You can peel the edges off and you'll get this kind of effect. And then once they're dry and you sand it, they don't tear up. They just sand, they just come off where you sand it at. So if you have vintage papers, those are the best. This was like a blue kind of onion paper, so it's kind of see-through. And this one I didn't sand too much. I just kind of just peeled off wherever it wasn't stuck to the board. This one I just glued down right now. So I'm letting this dry. Let me see if it's I use the heat gun. Still not dry. So heat guns don't work. You just got to be patient. Let's see. Okay, so see now it's finally starting to stick, but it is still a little bit wet. But then once it's stuck, you just peel off the parts that aren't glued down like that. So I didn't put glue around the edges, so that's why it's peeling off like that. So then, and you have this, and what I do is when I have something substantial, like a substantial piece, then like this, I just glue it on another part of the master board. If you're going to do something like this, I recommend smaller. All right, no, I had to do this whole big thing, and I think that's part of my frustration, is it's so large. But if you go, if you're just doing like a tag or a page in a journal, should be easy peasy. Just remember, put down your layers and then make sure you let them dry before you start peeling off the dry or the parts that aren't really glued down to get this kind of a look right here. You also, in between the layers, can put down, I put down black gesso over it, because you see it's a little bit darker. I put down black gesso and a little bit of wash, a dark brown wash. So I did that on my first layer because it was just too bright for me and I wanted it darker. And that's why I have all these dark spots in here, because I did do a wash over it. But then as you start peeling, some of the lighter spots come back up because you peel off the dark, and then you're left with the lighter spots, which is okay because it gives it a more old painted wall, like plastered with advertisements or something, and layer after layer. So it does give it that kind of look. So right now, this was my only piece I put on right now, and I'm just letting that dry fully. And then after I peel this off and sand it, take a look at it, and probably add another layer of stuff. Now originally at the beginning of the video, I was emptying out my trash tray over here, and I have a lot of those glossy packing tape type signs. Well, this is kind of turned into something else now, so I'm not sure if that's the direction I'm going to go. May have to save that for another masterboard with that type of style, because now all of a sudden it's turned into advertisements and stuff because I was trying to get rid of a lot of my stash. I have a lot of old vintage. This is not copies. These are all old vintage papers like these. I don't really use copies or digital art. I like to use real vintage paper if possible, you know. But I have tons of it. Well, not tons, but I have a lot. So I wanted to utilize them and use them. So that's what I did on here. These are all old vintage papers, and I'm going to put another layer on top probably because I want it to be a little bit thicker. This is still kind of thin. So it could stand to be a little bit thicker because eventually when I make a tag, I'm going to do something else. So I'm incorporating two videos that I saw into one tag. So that's why this is going to be my first part of the tag. So this is going to be the tag background, and then the second part, the other video, will be on top of this background. So that's where I am, and I'm sorry, I apologize that I didn't videotape the whole process, and I'm still actually doing the process. But like I said, it was very frustrating. My phone even started running out of juice, so I had to charge it. I had to eat because I was starting to get frustrated and all that good stuff. But going forward now that I kind of get the gist that I have to let it dry all the way, this is drying. I'm going to let this dry by itself. And then my next step will be to peel it and then sand it. And I will record that part. And then I'll put down another layer and I'll record that part. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right, so the layer of Mod Podge has dried, and normally, like on my regular masterboards, I don't do that because I'm always adding to them. I think with these, this one I'm going to stop there, and I just wanted to seal in the papers and also bring out a little bit of color because it was looking kind of dull in the semi-gloss Mod Podge. Kind of makes it look a little bit richer, even though you can't see it here because of the glare of the lights and stuff. And if I want to add more to it later, I can. So this is just the base. So this is just going to be the base for tags and journal cards, maybe pockets or that sort of thing. So now I'm going to cut it up into different shapes and sizes, and then I'll give you an example of how you can keep going with it. All right, hold on. Okay, so I cut out about 4 tags so far, and this is the remainder of that part of the page, and I'm just going to use these for possibly journal cards. And then the rest of it I have under here, this piece, and then the other half, which could still actually even be pages in a journal. Thin enough that I can fold it, cover for a journal. What do you think? But I'll just tuck it under here for now, because if I want to make pockets or anything like that, then I have the size I need for that. And then now I'm going to take a tag and try another process that I learned from another video. So I'm combining like 2 processes from YouTube videos into one. All right, so I'm going to start with this one. If I mess up, I have a few more I can practice with. Who knows how it's going to go. But hold on, let me get my supplies. Okay, so supplies you need is just facial tissue and your tag or whatever you're working on. And then like I don't know her name, but I linked the video below. But like she says, you have to find where it tears straight. So my tissue tears straight this way, not this way. So I'm going to put it on my tag this way. All right, I'm going to fold it in half, lay it on my tag. And here's the hard part, because I have to sew it. I have to sew. I wonder if I can just do that just so I can see where the edge is. Put it down like this, and then do it like that. Or maybe I'll clip it with one of my rusty paper clips. Because we're going to sew lines this way. And I don't have a camera set up over by my sewing machine, so I'll be back soon. All right, so this is where the voiceover begins, because I accidentally threw my microphone over onto the couch. But here I'm just showing you how I went ahead and sewed all the way around the tag to keep the tissue in place. So I did that first, and then I did my stitching the lines, the vertical lines, or horizontal, depending on which way you hold the tag. But right now they're vertical. So that's what I'm showing you here, and I'm showing you all the cool stitches that the sewing machine does. Without you even having, I mean, those stitches are already in the sewing machine. They're programmed in there. So, and then I'm showing where I still need to put an eyelet for the hole. So I didn't sew in that area. And then I'm testing out using, if you don't have a sewing machine, I'm going to test out staples. So, because this is what I would do if I had not had the sewing machine, is I would just make my stitches using staples. And you could probably even just put a line of glue across and then glue down little sections of your tissue also, I'm assuming. I didn't try that though, but maybe on another video I will. Or off camera I'll try and see how that looks. But right now I'm just mimicking some of the stitches using staples to see if this will work. All right, so now the next step is to add some color. So I am just pulling out some ink pads, Distress Oxide ink pads, and I'm saying that if you have spray bottles, you could probably just spray it too with color. But I'm using just various colors. I think a rusty hinge, and then probably scorched timber, I'm assuming, because I love that color now. And then some sort of blue. I didn't use that one though. I think I used the patina one. Yeah. So now we're just going to add color to the tag. So there's the rusty hinge. And then I decide that those threads are kind of annoying, so I'm just cutting off all the longish threads. Not too short, but not too long either. And then I just continue with the ink pad. And then I'm going to just spray it with some water to make the colors bleed into each other and kind of soften that look a little bit. Then I'm going to take some brushed corduroy, I believe it is, and spray it on there too. Now I'm taking the patina, just kind of going over where the staples are, just kind of dabbing it like in a line. More water, and then now with your finger, the tissue is wet. You're just going to peel it away as much as you like. I went mostly all the way to the threads, but you can leave more tissue if you like. I think if I do this again, that I would leave a little bit more tissue to add a little bit more texture. Like probably not even just peel it away, just use my finger and then just peel a little bit of it away, not that much. Sorry about my hair. A big old head always getting in the way. Just taking a little bit off the edges. It's got a lot of texture now, though. It's pretty cool look. A little rough, raggedy looking. All right, so got all the tissue off, and now I need to back it onto some because it feels pretty flimsy. Could be because it's still wet, but like I said, the masterboard I made this morning wasn't very thick. It probably should have been a little bit thicker, but I'll just put it on some cardstock, and then I'm going to add this little eyelet to it. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and my light turned off again. I need a new light. This thing doesn't last very long. But here's the tag. And you can see it has the stitches going through it, and hardly see the tissue on here, but it does have some nice texture. So I like it. It's kind of cool. I think I would try it with paper too, or maybe fabric, because then I think you'd get more of a oomph with it, with the fabric. Here the tissue is barely, because it dissolves away, so it kind of like disappears and it comes off real easy, like down here. So it's just right underneath the threading, and a little bit hanging out here, but over time that'll probably disappear too. just because it's just tissue. Oh, this is where the staples are. So the staples are actually holding that tissue in pretty good. But yeah, I accidentally got alcohol ink up here because I was trying to, this was silver and I was trying to put alcohol ink just on that and it spread over there. But here's the tag. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. And then another thing you can do, like with your tags, once you made your master board and you have your tags and you're like, what else can I do to it? You can always, like I have like this. This is a die cut from a piece of newspaper that I put epoxy over and I let it dry and it became like this, kind of see-through-ish. But look how cool that looks on there. Actually make a good pocket. I might have put that on a pocket inside the Insane Journal with this. But let me get the sheet to show you that real quick. Hold on. All right, so this is it. So it made it, you can see the back side. This, like the 6 is on the back, but you can see it through the front. So it made it all see-through. It was a vintage magazine. So it's shiny on one side where the epoxy was on. And then it looks like this on the other side, which is kind of cool looking too. Very, very glossy, very cool. So sometimes I'll cut out shapes and stuff as I need them. So that's the epoxy thing. I use that the epoxy that you have to mix the 2 parts together, and then I just brushed it on and let it dry outside. And then got this. Very sticky though. But yeah, but you can use it for die cuts and then cut out pretty cool pieces like this and put it on a tag. All right. Well, that's it for today's play date in the Asylum. It's first one of hopefully many. And again, I got the ideas off of 2 videos I watched that 2 people sent me, Michelle and Leanne. So I thank them for sending me cool stuff to watch. And this is what I came up with. And I like it. Like it a lot. And then on the back, I just, you can see where the alcohol ink was. I just colored it a little bit because it was completely white. I used this paper for the back. I get like little samples sometimes in the mail. And this was one of them. So it's pretty sturdy now. All right. But anyways, thanks for joining me today. I hope you guys had fun playing around. And I'll see you on the next video. Tschüss.